Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of All the Mod 6. I hope everyone is doing great today. I know that I am. We're hopping right back into another episode here on our game save. And we have done a little bit of work. So I have mentioned in the past, I do stream this game save over on Twitch. If you're interested in checking out full recaps, highly recommend jumping over to the Twitch in the description down below. You can find that link. And you can recap on all of the live streams because there's hours and hours of content over there for you guys to enjoy, all unedited. So if you're just kicking back and relaxing, it's a great way to just put something on, to watch or listen to, whatever it may be. So, but from there, we're going to jump into what we are doing today. There's not too much to recap you on, but I will show you a few things once we actually get into some of the items that we will be doing. So let's get out of this mode here. And let's get over to our base here. Now, you might already see one of the items that we have decided to get up and going, which is wireless items, wireless grids for our refined storage system. So I'm going to run you guys through this really quickly here, since I already crafted it all up for us. So there's a few items that you're going to need to get started on refined storage wireless transmissions. First and foremost is a wireless transmitter. Now, these are actually pretty straightforward to make up. You do need this quartz enriched iron, which it's just iron mixed with quartz. Not bad. You're kind of getting an extra one out of it. You're losing another quartz. You're kind of getting another iron somewhat, but not too shabby. So let me jump back over to that transmitter. You do need ender pearls for this, so keep that in mind. Advanced processors, we've gone through this before. All of these processes are going to be relatively the same. You do need the binding, silicone, redstone, and then this item right here will vary depending on which type you are making. For the most advanced one, you do need a diamond for it. So, and then this processor binding is just some string and slime. Very, very easy to make. And then from there, you also do need a machine casing, which is just some stone encased with enriched iron. Quartz enriched iron, I should say. So very easy to make, and I'll show you guys how we got to do this right now, because I'll break it and I'll show you. So what you have to do is connect it to your controller. Ours is purple. Yours might be a different color, so just take that with a grain of salt. We have it connected here, and as you can see, we click into it. It does have a small interface with a couple of slots over here. This is for range upgrades, because by default, this only does 16 blocks distance. So if we take our transmitter, our crafting grid, I should say, we come out here, we're not going to be in range until right about there. So it is still linked, but I'll show you how to range upgrade these. So you do need range upgrades if you want to extend, obviously, the distance that you can access it. And these are actually pretty straightforward to do. All you need is some more of that quartz enriched iron. You will need a good amount of ender pearls for this. If you do plan to max it out, you'll need, what, 12 ender pearls, I believe? And then you're going to need one of these upgrade units, which is just an improved processor, glass, and then that enriched iron once again. I already have mine crafted up. They do not stack, so keep that in mind. They do not stack once they're put in here. As you can see, once they're in your inventory, they do stack. But in here, I can't place all 4 into one slot. So that's the max we could do. So you can go from 16 to 48 block distance, which admittedly isn't that great. It really isn't that great. But we can improve that down the line, so don't worry. Once we start getting some additional things set up, we are going to extend that even more. But to help us out with the day-to-day, this is going to be a great addition here. So from there, the only other thing then you would have to get going, obviously, is the wireless crafting grid itself. Now, do be careful, because I made this mistake. There are different versions of the crafting grid, the wireless grids, I should say, not crafting grid. There's different wireless grids that you can make. Now, a bulk of them will show right here. So you have a wireless grid, which will just show you inventory, a wireless fluid grid, which if you have fluid set up, it would show you fluid levels and so on and so forth. A wireless crafting monitor, which will show you things that you can actually make if you get into that aspect of refined storage, which again, don't worry, we're going to get even further into things down the line, just not yet. And that seems to be it, right? Well, no, there's actually one more, and it's hidden at the bottom of the list. So the very last thing for refined storage, when you search for it like this, is the wireless crafting grid, which is what you're seeing in front of you this style of setup, of layout here. So do be careful, you can't transfer between them. So if you accidentally make one, it's not like you could add a couple more components or break it down to get to the other one. These are created individually. So you're going to want the wireless crafting grid. Again, enriched iron, advanced processor. You are going to need a crafting grid in the middle. It doesn't have to be any color, it can just be the base crafting grid, and then an ender pearl as well. And the crafting grids are really easy to get. You just need a normal grid, advanced processor, and a crafting table. And that is the grid right there. So destruction core, construction core, couple improved processors, machine casings, glass, that iron. It's very straightforward to do. So yeah, there we go. So we have our wireless crafter. It will go up to 48 blocks away, which is perfect. Now, the other thing I do want to note with our system, and with maybe helping with you guys get your systems up and going, it is great to hook in drawers. So sometimes it is overlooked. A lot of people will just want to go right into a refined storage system and solely work with that, which is perfectly fine. But what ends up happening is you do need to make a lot of storage disks to hold a lot of things, especially a lot of the bulk stuff. Let's talk about cobblestone. For us, we have 9,000 cobblestone just in our system alone, not to mention what we have in our dank null here, or our dank, I should say. And drawers are a great solution for that because they do not weigh on any of the disk storage. This is freed up and it just connects like so. You need a drawer controller and then have all of your drawers connected in some form or fashion to the drawer controller, like we have here. Now, they might not be directly connected, but there is a drawer that connects them in between. So you are fine with that. And you can do tons and tons of these. We've done these on our playthroughs before, and they work amazing. And then you can upgrade these. So if we shift and right click, you can see the upgrades that you can get to increase the base value of storage on there, which is pretty insane. So like I said, we have 9,000 in there, and we could probably put even more cobblestone in there. And there's different variants of this. These ones are oak, but there's plenty of other colors that you can utilize, different types. If you don't want that 4x4 that we have here, you could just do a single one. You could do them as like half slabs against a wall. You could do them as compacting drawers. The list is endless. Well, I shouldn't say that because it is endless. We just looked it up here, but there are a variety of options to suit your needs. This shows some of the upgrades that you can get in there, which are pretty cool. Ooh. Illuminates drawer labels. I think this is new then. I don't remember this one being in here before. But yeah, you can also get compacting drawers, which is really nice for like ores and ingots and things like that, because it'll turn them into blocks and you can easily pull out blocks and not actually have to craft them up. It is nighttime though, so let's sleep through the night. So now we are going to jump into the main item for today, since that kind of rounds out our storage items for this episode, and that is something that we did over on the stream. We got up and going, and I did finish it here off camera, but we have a new section layout over here. So we do have some different blocks that we're using for our environment here. Some basalt, nylium soul sand, nylium soul soil, magmatic stone, black stone, soapstone, nether bricks, like, yeah. And this is why. It is to get our enchantment area up and going. That is correct. That is what the focus of today's episode will be, is enchanting, because I think there's a lot for us to do there. We have also planted a lot of maple woods because that is what this area over here is going to be. I figured it was about time to have a transition from our normal green willow wood area into something different, and maple seemed pretty good for what we were doing. But this is how the outside of it looks, so it is going to have a little bit more tinkering done with it, but for the time being, it is what it is. We also need to connect it to some pathways that way, and then obviously we'll have some pathways going out in that direction as well. But for the time being, it serves its purpose. So walking on into our little building here, we obviously have our enchanting table, our bookshelves. We do need a couple more bookshelves to round it out here, just to make it look even. So I need to get more books though, and we might do that today as well, because they need some books for some other things that we're going to be doing. Obviously we have our enchanting table, like I said, some nice decorations, chains, some lanterns. We do have a chest for some storage here. We also have our anvil, which you guys know, base Minecraft anvil. We also then have over here a disenchanter from Cyclic. Now there's a bunch of different options for disenchantment in this mod pack, but this is the one I went with because it's pretty straightforward to make. And we can pull it up here. It is right here. All you got to do is take a base enchanting table, surround it with some emeralds, some obsidian, and you get a Disenchanter, and it transfers enchantments onto books. So basically, you'll rip them off of items and put them onto books, so you can then take them, put them in an anvil, and apply them to whatever you want. I do have this hooked up to a power source, which is just a Sterling dynamo for the time being, because it does utilize power to actually do the removal of the enchantments. So yeah, that is pretty much our setup for enchanting. So let's just go and jump into it. Now, the first thing to address is our katana, because unfortunately, you can't enchant it like this. So if we take a look at the katana itself, we can actually put enchantments on it, like Bane of Villagers, capturing, like there's a good amount of things. We can actually look at it, the whole list right here, which is really nice. There's a bunch of them you can put on there, but for whatever reason, you just can't enchant it in an enchanting table. You have to put them on separately. Don't know why. It's kind of a weird thing with it, unfortunately. But as we transition off of this weapon and onto some other things, like from Aldermanium, we will then be able to enchant those, so don't worry. But things like our flux board, we could put in here, and we could get some enchantments on it. Now, realistically, not a lot of these things we need enchantments on. We do have our armor, though, which would be very useful to put some enchantments on. And on top of that, we have a few items to disenchant, and actually a book that I want to utilize to enchant things. So, from our live stream, we actually went and took on a dungeon, which was really, really fun. That's where we got a lot of our ender pearls from that we were utilizing to craft up our wireless system for our refined storage. And we were able to pick up a whole bunch of gear. So, for instance, we have a diamond sword with looting outlaw on it. We have a golden sword with life leech and sharpness. A diamond helmet that has feather falling on it. And we did find this enchanted book with multi-jump 2. Like, what? Now, I don't know if this really makes sense because we have a jetpack, but I felt like it was kind of cool enough to give it a go. So we're going to start with that one because the other ones we do need books for. It only costs 4 levels to get on there, so not too bad. So let's try them out. So we'll put these on. I'm going to take our jetpack off and let's just see. So, whoa. Okay. That is actually really cool. Now, if we put feather falling on it, it will help even more. If we have our jetpack on, though, I mean, it kind of helps. Like, it's kind of cool that we can multi-jump. We'll definitely get feather falling because even with our jetpack, we are encountering some issues with, falling and taking fall damage. Now, on top of that, I do want to take some of the items off of here, off of these weapons, and put them onto books with our Disenchanter in order to get those onto other items. But in order to do that, I kind of need some more books, and I don't have those. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I might regret this double jump or this multi-jump now because we were just hopping all over the place. So let's see here. Do we have what is it called? Flesh, right? Yeah. We do have a little bit of it, so there's different ways. There's only one way that you can make a book, unfortunately, in this pack. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's a few ways to actually make a book, but the most straightforward way is to use paper and leather, because I think actually that might be like the main way. Yeah, there's other ways where you can cut down different things to actually get books from it, but this is the main way. So you need paper and leather. Now, to get leather, there's many different ways to do it. But obviously your straightforward way would be to just get it from a cow. Like, that's your best way to do it. Or what you could also do is from smelting. If you use rotten leather, which is 3 rotten flesh together, you can get one. So if you have a bunch of rotten flesh, you're good to go. But unfortunately, we do not have that. So we are going to have to do a little bit of exploration to either find cows or to find some zombies. So I'm going to take some time. I'm going to do that. And then once we get back, hopefully we'll be at a little better place to actually do some disenchanting and moving those awesome enchantments onto our katana. All right, guys, we have what we need here. And I am actually going to use our wireless crafting grid. Why go back into our storage area when we can just utilize this? So we have a good amount of leather. So what we can do is get some books up and going. We do need some more paper though, which is pretty straightforward. You can just make it with sugarcane. Highly recommend just doing it like that, especially because sugarcane is pretty plentiful to find in this mod pack. So let's get a couple books here going. Ow, wow, okay, I guess I did have actually some leather hanging out there because we got a decent amount of books there. So I'm just going to take maybe like 10 of them. I think 10 really would do us justice for the time being. So all I got to do is take them, put them in there, and then take the items that you want. So for example, looting 2 would be very nice to have, especially since we already have it. Don't get me wrong, there's other ways we could get up to looting 3 or even higher than that. But for the time being, I just want to utilize kind of what we have. So when we could even take this, we could take this off of here. I believe it will work. No, we don't want it. We always want it on. So we have leech life, and then we get sharpness as well. And then from there, we could also do this as well, and we'll get outlaw, and we'll also get looting. Now, outlaw is actually interesting. It increases damage dealt to villagers. So something pretty cool there. Now we could put this away. We also want to get the feather falling off of this helmet. And I wish there was a way that you could do it without having to go through all of the enchantments first. As you saw, it was the third one on our list there, and we had to unfortunately go through all 3 of them in order to get it. So I am going to, well, protection is good to have, but it's only protection 3. So, and leech life would be good as well. So we have what we want here. Let's take our armor off. And let's get this going. So we already have our vibranium boots. Let's put feather falling on them. Cost of 4 levels. Not bad. That should totally help us in the long run. Now we do have our katana here. I believe we could put sharpness on it. And that's going to take it from 54 to 57 damage dealt, which is pretty nice. We could also put some looting on there. That will be helpful as well. We obviously, leech life would be good as well. So let's put leech life on there. Now, again, guys, these are just enchantments that I have taken off of different items. So they're not going to be the most amazing. We can definitely get better ones if we were to do some more tinkering around, and we will. But I want to save a lot of the cool, really good enchantments for when we actually, I hit a button there, I thought I messed something up, for when we get into our pretty much go forward weapons setup, so which will be down the line. Now there are some other things that we have here. We do have projectile protection here if we're looking at chest plates. I think if we just search up Minecraft in general, we might be able to find everything. Depth strider, which would be good to have. We do have range on that. We do have knockback and growth on that hoe there, which is pretty cool. Excavate, experience boost. That could be very useful. We do have some books in here, including Reach 3. That could be, that has 2 on there. And this one's interesting how it works. So the way that this one will work is it just depends on what you put it on. It has 2 enchantments, reach and piercing. Now, if you put it on a chest plate, you'll get reach. If you put it on a crossbow or looks like a boomerang, you'll get piercing. All right, so I went ahead and I took a bunch of I disenchanted a bunch of these stuff that we had to get all of these books. So the most interesting one I think I have found is this Vitality 2. It increases the maximum health of the wearer. It doesn't really say much else other than that, but I mean, hey, I'll definitely take it. And you can put it on a chest plate. Unfortunately, though, our chest plate is our jetpack currently, which I don't know. Can we enchant this with a Vitality 2? We can. Okay. Which takes it, I mean, it doesn't really show us if it does anything to it. I mean, hey, we'll put it on there. It says it increases the maximum health. I mean, I didn't really see a difference, but still. Pretty cool to have. We do have projectile protection, so why don't we put that on there? That'll be kind of helpful. We'll put it on our helmet here. A reach 3, which is actually pretty nice. Experience boost, definitely need to have that on our katana. Heck yeah, 10 levels, definitely worth it to put on there. I mean, that's just going to allow us to get even more. Now we do have depth strider. I do need to put that on our boots. Can't have those just hanging around. Boots plus Depth Strider. It's actually interesting. Enchantment cost of 7, right? But it doesn't really... I guess it took 7 levels worth of experience off of our level 81. It didn't take 7... Like, it didn't reduce the number by 7, but it took 7 levels total of experience, which would be less than probably what it would be to get from 80 to 81, or whatever it may be. So... that's probably why it's looking a little bit different there. And we do have Unbreaking. I mean, we could put it on these, but I already have other plans for that, so I don't think so. And we do have Reach, which would be kind of cool, especially if we put it on this for the time being. Since our jetpack is our main thing that we use, why don't we put Reach 3 on it? All right, so that's pretty much everything. Let's get it all placed back on. We'll do that. And then let's see, can I reach from like a good distance now? I mean, I feel like that's a pretty far distance to be able to reach from. Yeah, I can reach from way down here. So reach is definitely nice. And then Depth Strider will be very good for when we're underwater. We can move around a lot quicker. So that is awesome. And then we obviously have experience and looting on our sword now. So you know what that means. We have to try out is killing some mobs here. So what do we got? Some creepers? We do have some creepers. I mean, we got one piece of gunpowder from them, but that doesn't really... We got 2 pieces, and we did get a catalyzed gland. I think those are pretty hard to get from creepers. Not 100% sure, but hey, I mean, there's things that add to our sword in general. Now, like I said, we will transition off of this sword eventually to something different. But maybe the other thing we will try to do, maybe we will try to enchant a sword on its own and see what we could get. Bane of Illagers. I'm not really feeling Bane of Illagers. Can we get something different? If I took like a golden sword. Bane of Illagers. Okay, so it sounds like we're getting Bane of Illagers regardless. So why don't we try this out? Now this does have the Eterna, Quanta, and Arcana. It's very interesting how these work. Measure of the strength, it controls the level of the table. This is a measure of flux, and then finally of the quality. So these are interesting. They're from a different mod, and that's why it's added in. It's not base Minecraft functionality. But we're going to do that. Let's see what we get. Bane of Illagers and Unbreaking. It's fine. And actually, I'd like to get something else up and going real quick here. Okay, so I also got up and going a Grindstone, which will pretty much just repair and disenchant items for you. So we don't want this on here. It'll disenchant, but it doesn't save those items you're taking off of it, those enchantments. So that's the one thing that people kind of stray away from using it, because you don't get what you had on it before. But for us, I didn't really want any of those, so it's fine. Let's see what else we can get. Tombstone Soulbound. Kind of interesting, but nothing crazy. I guess I'll keep trying this for a while and see what we can get then that we could add to our sword. Alright guys, I spent some time going through and looking at different enchantments. And I didn't really get that many different ones. I did upgrade, so we have looting 3 now, which is pretty nice, but other than that, it's pretty much all been the same. The other thing I did realize is you guys can actually take indestructible off of any item if you wanted to. So if you wanted to take that off and move it to a different item, you could. Now I did go over in the last episode how we got that, but I figured why not get a vibranium bow going, which would be very, very nice. I don't think I have a normal bow hanging out anywhere. I think we do have some arrows though. Unfortunately, I don't think I have what I need in order to make a normal bow. Yeah, no, we are missing string per usual. Let's see, do we have anything that we could utilize instead? Oh, we do have our industrial hemp fiber, which could be made into it, but we do need something in order to be able to make up, we're gonna put that away, put that away, that away, that away, and that away, to make up a, to get the enchantments on it. We need something to have that we can put the enchantments on, because I'm gonna guess this vibranium bow is not gonna work for enchantments. Get wrecked. So let's check this out. Let's see what we can do. Let's just double check. Oh, we can enchant it. Ooh, okay. So for some reason we couldn't on this one. Don't know why. Probably because it already had an enchantment on it. That's probably why. It had the indestructible on it, and we couldn't do that with it then. So let me tinker around with this. We'll get our best setup, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so I went through and got a couple different enchantments on our bow here. Nothing too crazy. I really was looking for that infinity, but I think we need to expand out our bookshelves or just kind of get into more of the other mods in order to help us get to that point where we could just have infinity arrows. That would be super, super nice. Let's hop out of this view. I'll show you what we got on here currently. We have power 5, range 4, and then soulbound as well. Now, again, there are other things that we could put on here. I thought I heard a zombie over here somewhere. I thought I did. I don't know where he went. Maybe I didn't. But we can test it out. It's not as good as our katana. That is for sure. There's no question about it. Our katana is amazing. All right, well, first we got to find some enemies here that we can take out, and I'll show you how our bow is. Is there seriously nothing around here? There's a chicken. I don't really want to have to kill a chicken. Look at all the chickens. All right. Baby, is there anything? Okay, I guess we're kind of stuck with the chicken. I'm not seeing anything. There's stuff on the map, but... So, it does quick work of a chicken, but a chicken isn't a good representation of an enemy. Okay, it says there's a Skeletor somewhere over in this vicinity. Can we find him? That's the real question. Is it above ground or below ground? I'm guessing below ground. There's a zombie right there. So, decent amount of damage. Don't get me wrong, but it's still just not as good. But, again, for what we want it for, just to be there as a ranged weapon, it is perfect. Now, we will need to get some more arrows up and going, so maybe it is good that we actually killed that chicken. But guys, with that being said, we're going to wrap up the episode there because we are getting close to that 30-minute mark, and we have had a few longer episodes recently. So, with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like down below. Or better yet, leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking on this series. If there's anything specifically you want to see, don't worry. We have a huge list of things that will be coming down the pipeline. Lots of episodes coming. Don't worry. So, if you are interested, though, in checking me out over on Twitch and catching up on some things that we don't necessarily do here on YouTube, check that link out in the description below. We currently stream on Fridays and Mondays and Fridays at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's always a nice, relaxing time over there. We do have a community set up in forms of our Discord. So if you want to join our Discord, it's linked in the description down below as well. And you can hang out with a bunch of cool people from the community and reach out. I try to be on there as much as possible and answer questions. It's just a fun, safe space for everyone to kick back and relax and enjoy Minecraft. But guys, with that being said, thank you again for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it so very much, and I'll catch you all in the next episode. Take it easy.